So our first virtual York St John Global Opportunities Fair. So this talk is about the University of Luxembourg. I'm hoping if I can click off that you can see my screen okay there. So yes, we'll make a start. So the University of Luxembourg is in Luxembourg City, which is in Luxembourg. It was founded in 2003 and it currently has 1,329 members of staff and 6,714 students. So it's not too dissimilar from York St John. So it's located where the red dot is there, right in the centre of Europe. It's got amazing travel links to the rest of the continent. So if you wanted to travel around whilst you were there, then you could do. And it's next to Belgium, France and Germany. So Luxembourg itself is the capital city of Luxembourg, which is obviously quite a small country. It's one of the safest countries in the world. It has the restaurant with the world's largest wine list, so that might come in handy after a difficult assignment perhaps. There are 17 kilometres of underground tunnels beneath the city. It's the first city to be the European capital of culture twice, and it's got strong transport links across Europe. So it's a very nice city. I've been myself, and it's very kind of modern, but then it's got the historical elements too. So there's some pictures just to give you kind of a flavour of what it looks like. So in terms of who can go, it's anyone who's doing English language, linguistics and TESOL, English language and linguistics, British Sign Language, English language and linguistics, British Sign Language and educational linguistics, or educational linguistics. And if you're on one of those courses, then you can go in your second year in either semester 1 or semester 2. So the university itself is, perhaps unsurprisingly, the largest educational institution in Luxembourg. It has 3 different faculties. As I mentioned before, it's a similar size to York St John University, so it would give you that similar kind of feel. It's quite a cosmopolitan learning environment, and it's recognised for their multilingual teaching. So they use lots of different languages, but you would be taught in English. So there's quite a number of courses available to you across all 3 faculties. Your courses are something that you would get approved through your school. So prior to you going, you would get your modules sort of agreed with the tutor there. And more details can be found on our website. So you can have a look through those, see which ones you like the look of, and then get them okayed before you go. So for housing, there's quite a few different options really. It depends when you're going to be going and what's available, but they do give you help in terms of finding accommodation. So whether that be student accommodation or whether you want to go privately, as some people do, you can find out more information through their website, and it tells you about different fees and what you can expect to pay and what the contracts are like too. But one thing to make you aware of is that if you're going to Luxembourg for 21-22 academic year, you'll be the last year that will qualify for the Erasmus Plus grant, which for Luxembourg is £420 a month. It's the highest rate, as it's a slightly more expensive place to go. And you get that regardless of your background and what your household income is. If you have a smaller household income, then you can get an additional €120 per month as well. And if you have any disabilities or special needs, then you can also qualify for the Erasmus Plus Special Needs Grant. So again, that's just more money to help you be able to do something that perhaps you wouldn't have been able to do otherwise. And that's kind of it really. It's a bit of a whistle-stop tour. I'll just go back to the main screen and stop sharing that if I can put my teeth in. So yeah, it's quite a quick overview. We can give more information if there's anything specific you want to know, or if you've got any questions now to ask. And equally, we can put you in touch with people from Luxembourg and our students who've studied there in the past and who might know a little bit more, so perhaps about the practicalities. If you've got any questions of what it's like to live there, we can try and find somebody who would be willing to talk to you to give you more information on that. But if you've got any questions, feel free to either ask them now or type them into the chat box. And if not, then we'll finish the recording. I'll just wait for a moment in case anything comes up. Okay, so how do the modules offered in Luxembourg differ from those at York St John? In terms of what the content is, I think it really varies. It depends on what course you do, what modules you pick. But the main thing I think that people sort of say when they've done any kind of study abroad experience is that it's the difference in learning styles as much as the actual topics covered. So obviously you can do different things that your peers, the people in your groups, your classes, they won't have been doing the same modules as you. So that's kind of a fresh look on things. And I think people often use that when they're doing their dissertations because they've got that different perspective. But also you get a chance to learn in a different way. So I think in Europe it tends to be, well, I think for Britain really, we tend to be a bit more hands off, perhaps in our approach to learning. So it's, you go to your lectures, your seminars, but then you're really kind of left to do the assessments and the time. Whereas I think for Europe it tends to be a bit more that they will guide you a lot more, and there'll be more, in class things to do. So it's getting an understanding of that different learning environment and adapting to that. And these are really kind of key things that you can use, in your dissertation, and also as employability skills as well, of being able to adapt to that different way of learning. I hope that makes sense. They don't differ so much that you're totally going off on a tangent as well, because you do have to get them signed off, because all the modules you do in Luxembourg, they will count towards your York St John degree. So they make sure that anything that you would miss in the semester, you're aware that you would then be able to pick up, thing there, or at least make up for it in the semester that you're back in York. I don't know if you've got any other questions you want to ask. I'll wait for another minute. I realise it takes a little while to type these things out. Let's have a look. Any additional opportunities that are available whilst you're out there? Not organised by us, unfortunately, no. Whether the host has things you can get involved with, quite possibly. Obviously, we have things like the student ambassadors, we have roles like that. So they might well have something. It's something I can find out. I'll make a note to find out if they have anything. Also, there's the opportunity to work abroad. Now, with Brexit, we're not quite sure what that's going to look like yet, what the requirements for visas will be. But it might be that you're able to get a part-time job, which some people do if they want to fit that around the studies and have a bit more money. So yeah, there's usually things you can get involved with. Of course, there'll be sports organisations, societies, things like that too. So a lot of our students who do go abroad do really get involved in the wider student life, extracurricular things, not just the teaching, to kind of embrace it a little bit more. If there are large community study abroad students there, it's something people would be introduced to. I'm not entirely sure on their numbers for study abroad students, actually. I didn't see that on their website, but again, I can double check and get back to you with that. Typically, what they tend to do, which again, all the universities do, is they will organise something. So when you arrive, they usually tell you to arrive on certain days. So they will have links with other universities. It's just, I don't know how many off the top of my head, but they'll get you to arrive maybe across a couple of days on a weekend, for example. Often they do like collection services, so they can collect you from the airport. There is an airport in Luxembourg City, or whether you go by train, however you get there. And then they usually arrange sort of an international orientation week. So again, that's what most universities do. That's what we do. So it's a timetable of events throughout that week, typically welcome week, but it's for international students. It's based around that. And it's so you can meet others. They'll do things like, maybe take you on like a shopping trip around the city, just to get acquainted with the local area as well as the university itself. So assuming that they do the same as most others do, that's what you can kind of expect to see when you get there. I'll just wait to see if you've got any other questions. I know there's always lots of things. Okay, that's great. Well, thank you very much. I'll just stop this recording now. Stop recording.